News Bulletin, an Atlantic weather forecast, next 7 days. Good day to our viewers. Thank you for joining us in today's special bulletin. We bring you a comprehensive outlook on the highly complex and volatile weather situation that the United States and the Atlantic Basin will face in the coming week. Right now, meteorologists nationwide are raising alerts as a massive storm system is forming and will sweep across the central United States, producing serious threats of extreme weather. We are talking about damaging wind gusts capable of causing widespread impacts, large hail, and even tornadoes stretching from the Great Plains into the Ohio Valley and down into parts of the Southeast. Meanwhile, out over the Atlantic, Tropical Storm Gabrielle continues to strengthen as it nears Bermuda, with the potential to reach hurricane status. More concerning, a new tropical wave is trailing right behind Gabrielle, with some scenarios suggesting it may track closer to the U.S. mainland toward the end of September. This means America is heading into a very challenging week, as multiple hazardous weather elements converge to trigger back-to-back events. Already today, many areas are experiencing severe thunderstorms. Across the Midwest and central states, storms have lingered since last night, accompanied by large hail and damaging winds. A small low-pressure center has spun up again in North Dakota, while Illinois yesterday recorded a brief tornado, weak, but enough to remind us that the atmosphere is storing a great deal of unstable energy. And this is only the beginning. Within the next 24 hours, a much stronger low is forecast to cross the Rockies, pulling in both hot, humid air from the south and cold air from the north, creating prime conditions for powerful supercells. This setup will bring dangerous weather starting tonight, lasting for several days across multiple states. The southern plains into the Mississippi Valley will be at risk on Monday and Tuesday. Then, as the low shifts eastward, the entire Ohio Valley will be in the bullseye on Wednesday, with potential for multiple tornadic supercells, damaging winds, and hail. The system could even expand into the eastern seaboard by Thursday, drenching heavily populated city corridors. Upper-level dynamics are also evolving rapidly. The jet stream is still somewhat weak and split, with a trough over the north and a small low offshore California. But as the Pacific Northwest low moves inland across the Rockies, it will cut off into a strong upper system and increase low-level winds dramatically. This will boost atmospheric spin, converting ordinary storms into dangerous supercells. By the time this energy reaches the Ohio Valley, the system may even intensify further, opening a wide corridor of tornado potential stretching from Indiana and Kentucky down to Mississippi. Today, two areas are under highlighted risk, one stretching from the Great Lakes down into northern Texas, and another across the upper Midwest. The main threats today are strong wind gusts and scattered hail, especially around St. Louis, Kansas City, southern Oklahoma, and northern Texas. Tornado potential is still low, but the Storm Prediction Center may consider a 2% tornado risk upgrade in spots. On Monday, the threat rises sharply. The core risk zone includes Kansas, Oklahoma City, and the western part of that state, along with the Texas Panhandle. A broader risk corridor extends from southern Wisconsin down to Dallas, and another stretches from Tennessee into western New York. The primary hazards on Monday are damaging winds and large hail, but a few tornadoes are possible, particularly in southern Kansas and north-central Oklahoma. Residents in Tulsa, Oklahoma City, and Enid should remain on alert. Tuesday is considered a pivotal day. If morning storms clear quickly enough for the atmosphere to recover, the afternoon and evening could erupt with multiple tornadic supercells across eastern Oklahoma, western Arkansas, and even near Dallas. The corridor from Tulsa to Fort Smith faces the highest risk, with tornadoes, large hail, and destructive winds all possible. This is when residents must have safe shelter plans ready and closely monitor official warnings. By Wednesday, the low shifts over Missouri and Arkansas, spreading severe weather across the entire Ohio Valley, from Indiana, Ohio, and Kentucky down through Mississippi and Alabama. Thunderstorms may organize into lines, producing widespread damaging winds, hail, and isolated tornadoes. Travel along Interstates 65, 70, and 75 will be hazardous due to reduced visibility and slick roads. Thursday, as the low nears the northeast, heavy rain is expected along the I-95 corridor from New York through Virginia. Into the Carolinas, urban flash flooding could occur within 30 to 60 minutes of intense rainfall. The southeast and Florida will remain in a moist, unsettled pattern with on and off downpours continuing through the weekend, keeping southern Florida and coastal cities vulnerable to flooding. In the west, the Rockies will see afternoon storms with frequent lightning, posing risks for hikers and campers. The west coast will generally stay dry and mild, aside from light offshore disturbances bringing occasional showers. Now, shifting to the Atlantic, Tropical Storm Gabrielle is strengthening and forecast to reach hurricane status as it nears Bermuda. The track, however, will likely curve northeast out to sea, sparing the U.S. mainland from direct impacts. Bermuda, however, should prepare for strong winds and heavy rainfall, while the Azores may see minor impacts later this week. More concerning is the tropical wave behind Gabrielle. Although still disorganized, models increasingly show development potential within 5 to 7 days. If this system trends farther west, a U.S. East Coast approach cannot be ruled out. Uncertainty is still high. Additionally, as September ends and October begins, Central America, especially the Western Caribbean and Gulf of Mexico, may become a hotspot for a Central American gyre-type low. This pattern has produced powerful hurricanes in past years, so Gulf Coast residents in Texas, Louisiana, and Florida should monitor developments closely. As for temperatures, while storms dominate many regions, a new heat surge is expected across the plains and Midwest. Highs in Iowa, Missouri, Illinois, and even Minnesota could top 100 degrees Fahrenheit late this week. Combined with high humidity, outdoor conditions will feel dangerously oppressive. In contrast, the Northeast and coastal Atlantic states will trend cooler thanks to persistent rainfall, with highs dropping into the 70s and 80s. 7-day rainfall totals are projected at 1 to 3 inches across a wide corridor from New Mexico and Colorado through Kansas, Oklahoma, Arkansas, and into the Ohio Valley. Some spots could exceed 3 inches, particularly southern Florida and the southeast coast. The threat of flash flooding and urban inundation will therefore remain significant. In summary, the U.S. faces a packed week of hazards. Early week, repeated severe storms across the plains and Midwest. Midweek, Ohio Valley becomes the hotspot. Late week, heavy rain spreads into the east and southeast. Meanwhile, the Atlantic stays active with Hurricane Gabrielle and a trailing wave of concern. The most important message: be prepared. Charge devices. Enable emergency alerts. Secure safe shelter plans. Move vehicles to covered areas where hail is possible. And never drive across flooded roads. That concludes today's bulletin. Thank you for watching. If you found this information helpful, please like, subscribe, and enable notifications so you never miss an update. Wishing you and your family a safe week ahead. We'll see you again in the next report.